Welcome back to Inside City Hall, where we are bringing you another installment in our summer-long series, New York's Big Bet. We have told you about several of the bids for the 3 downstate casino licenses that will be awarded by the state later this year. Tonight, we're focusing on the Bally's Corporation's proposal in the Bronx. Bally's proposed casino would be built on the grounds of the existing Bally's Golf Links at Ferry Point and feature a 2,000-person convention center and a 500-room hotel. But the project has run into some opposition. Last month, the City Council rejected zoning changes that the Bally's proposal would need in order to build the project. But 2 weeks ago, Mayor Adams vetoed that decision, and the council has since backed down. Joining me now to talk more about all of this is Soo Kim. He is the chairman of the Bally's Corporation. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
So you are one of 8 applicants for a casino license, the only one in the Bronx.
We are.
Talk about what sets this project apart from the other bids.
Sure. I mean, look, again, the main thing is that I am actually based here in New York, and I'm the chairman of Bally's, and so I had a sort of more of a freedom of action as to decide. Obviously, this is the big prize in gaming nationally, probably maybe globally. You know, the opportunity to build one of the 3 casinos in the largest city in the country. 20 million people in the surrounding area. That's a great opportunity. And so we've been competitive with RFPs in the past. We're the ones been selected to build the only casino in the city of Chicago. And but there's no prize quite like New York, and I'm from here. So look, we had a freedom of action in terms of deciding where we want to potentially place this casino, what piece of property that we need to option so that we can do this. And really, the golf course in Ferry Point in the Bronx is ideally located. I mean, it's located right along the arterial highways. The 2 bridges that bracket the golf course each carry more than 40 million cars a year. So look, in the end, people come to casinos by car. And so you need the infrastructure to handle 5 million plus cars a year. Not all 9 to 5. It's the nice thing about the traffic, it's spread out, but you just need the infrastructure to handle it. And our site allows you to enter and exit the site right off the interstate. And that is, I think that's one of the reasons why we were so excited by the site.
We've seen, looking at some of the images there, the golf course, the existing golf course, basically remains as is.
Absolutely.
And the casino and the hotel and all the other facilities are basically constructed around it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people know that the golf course is public. It's a New York City public course. We manage that course, but it is a fantastic world-class championship course. And yet, not that many people know about it. It's wonderfully situated right on the water. And this is an opportunity to really open up the course and that property and even that park to the community as a whole. And we're pretty excited by that.
So, as you know, there's been some criticism of the project. The local community board was against it. The local city councilwoman, Christy Marmorato, and as we mentioned earlier, the council as a whole voted against the zoning change, although that was later obviated by the action taken by Mayor Adams. I mean, do you get the sense that most people in the nearby community are opposed to your project?
Yeah, I think that what the important thing is that this project is for the whole state, it's for the whole city, and it's really for the whole Bronx. So, first of all, the city council is sort of an interesting. Again, just 6 weeks prior, we had actually passed a very similar vote on home rule by the same margin the other way. So we actually were not thinking that this one, the zoning vote was going to go poorly, but I guess for whatever reason, there was a lot of decision changes along the way between the first vote and the second vote. Now, fortunately for us, the entire Bronx delegation, save the one very local council member, actually supported us throughout the entire process. This is an opportunity to put what is, by probably a factor of 2, the largest private development in the borough's history. And if you think about development in New York, like the Bronx is not the borough that is in the frame when talking about some new headquarters or this or that. And this is an opportunity to change that, to place make, to allow the Bronxers to participate in the economic development that comes with something like this. So we actually quite deliberately placed our bid in the Bronx because it's the borough with the most need. I'm not talking about the actual neighborhood right next to the casino, which, by the way, is quite a bit away from the casino. The casino is actually surrounded by 200 acres of golf course, a cemetery, a highway, and an actual park.
Right. Well, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, the location, I think of the golf course as being sort of isolated.
It is.
So you're not really, there's no traffic and disruption in the immediate neighborhood. But then, I mean, on the flip side, and I think I've heard this criticism from Councilwoman Marmorato, is that, maybe you're not providing benefits to the local community. Maybe you're cannibalizing some of the local business because people are coming in and out, but not necessarily visiting the Bronx.
Right.
Well,
well, look, we tried to be very mindful. So we went through a very engaged process. Ultimately, we were not able to get the vote of that nearby community, but the reality is we got the support of the entire borough. But we were trying to be mindful. Obviously, when it came to the nearest community, they cared about traffic, they cared about parkland, they cared about safety, they cared about property values. Those were the specific asks. And so let me tell you, when we shaped that actual specific project, the project's going to be better because we're there, because we're literally building a new overpass underneath Lafayette Avenue that's going to take all the current traffic that uses Lafayette Avenue Bridge to go back and forth. It's going to take it right off there, So now there's going to be a whole nother road. We're going to improve all of the access to the parkland. We're going to increase public safety by creating 2 new substations in the area. But most importantly, just a few months ago, there was an opportunity to save a private school, a Catholic school, that served that community specifically right on Slade Avenue. And our foundation was able to step up and do so. And let me just tell you, the most important thing, so we were being, even the height of our buildings, we structured so that you can't see it from most of the community. In fact, you can't see from the entire community. And so, but if you think about the most powerful potential criticism was, well, this is going to lower property values. And what we said is, hey, if this school closes, let me tell you, the only thing that matters for property values are good schools in your communities. This is a good school. For some reason, the nuns were retiring and wanted to sell the property, and so we had an opportunity to give to the community directly and meet their needs.
Let me ask you about another criticism, which has to do with President Donald Trump. As I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Trump organization stands to benefit if Bally's wins the casino bid. I think $115 million, right?
Sure.
Would go to the Trump organization. That doesn't always sit well with people if Donald Trump, is going to get rich.
Well, that's a great thing. And look, prior to us being involved in that golf course, there was a huge sign on the berm that read Trump, that you could see from every highway passing on the Whitestone and while you're landing or taking off in LaGuardia. So when we did this deal, we were celebrated for actually solving the impasse between the city and the president. At the time was former president. But look, he knew the value of this project to us. He's not a dummy. He knew that when Bally's corporation is coming in to take over a golf course, he's like, oh, what are you going to do with that? We're going to bid it in the casino. And he said, look, for us to exit, we want a piece. Now, what I would say is $100 million sounds like a lot, but this is a $4 billion project to the Bronx. We're talking about thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of indirect benefits, property taxes. I think that we're getting a good deal. New Yorkers are getting a good deal. In just the same way as we wanted to be done with that licensing arrangement, we got that done for the city, and there was a price to pay. He exerted a price on us. Obviously, it doesn't help our bid in New York City or New York State, but hey, it was the price that we needed to pay, and I think that it was worth it for the Bronx.
Have you talked to the president about the bid?
No, no. This was done through real estate intermediaries. So
right.
No, they're really not involved. But I think they understand that when the Bally's Corporation wants to take over their golf course, I wouldn't even say there's a subtext to that. That's just the headline text to it.
Yeah.
And I would say, look, I'm actually glad that they sold it because again. This is about improving what was landfill and very low value. Look, even today, there's no property taxes collected on a city golf course. You're taking the parking lot of that and uplifting the value. So now we're talking about real value created for New York City. I think, honestly, I think the former president at the time was, responsible for letting it go. Because actually, as we were bidding against, we're like, hey, what are you doing? Like, we're paying you a lot more than the golf course is worth. But he knew what the value was to us in the city, and he took a piece of it.
All right. Soo Kim, the chairman of Bally's, thank you so much for joining us. We will know in the next few weeks whether you end up with a bid.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Right.
Cheers.
All right.